Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Professors of Profit vlogcast. I'm your host, Dr. F. Scott Feil, and I've got a super cool guest with me today, a former NFL player and owner and inventor of Ice Shaker, Chris Gronkowski. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your journey into entrepreneurship?
Hey man. Well, first off, thanks for having me. Happy Friday. It's been a little crazy here in Texas. So we've been shut down a couple of days. The kids have been home. And I'm trying to run a business too. So it's all good though. The journey started for me. It started about 5 years ago. I saw an opportunity I wanted, and I was super passionate about sports, health, fitness. And I was at the gym and I was working out. I had this plastic shaker. I brought it there. It was sweating everywhere. It was hot out. I took a sip, it tasted awful. It smelled awful. I was like, man, these have been around for like 20 years. There's got to be something better out there that will at least keep my drink cold. And I went home that day and there was nothing there. So I saw this opportunity and, I thought it was something I would really want for myself and just kind of hoped other people would want it too. And so I jumped on it and I went for it.
Yeah, I think personally, there's hundreds of reasons why people should go into entrepreneurship. It's not easy, it's definitely a roller coaster ride. But what was your why for going into entrepreneurship? I mean, you could, you had an NFL career. You could have just, taken your earnings and invested a little and kicked back and put your shoes up a little and said, all right, and I can just coast into retirement at this point, right? But what got you into entrepreneurship? What was your why?
Yeah, man, I definitely could not retire. I had 4 years, but at minimum, in minimum, when I started was, it was 330K. So I was not a millionaire from playing football, even though I played for 4 years. A lot of people thought I was, but after taxes, I wasn't even close to having a million in my bank account. So, but yeah, it wouldn't have mattered anyways, even though I had million. It would have been the same thing. I needed some kind of competition. I needed something to really challenge me. So this was it. Entrepreneurship is 100% it. If you want a challenge, it is the ultimate challenge that doesn't stop either, man. It's definitely hard to walk away. I was probably putting minimum 100-hour weeks in when I first started. I worked every single day. I pretty much still do work every single day at this point. So for me, it was kind of how I was wired. That was what it comes down to. I knew the NFL schedule, even college was even worse. Being a full-time student, then a full-time athlete was the absolute grind. But it's hard for me not to do anything, just to sit around and not accomplish something every day. So I'm still up early. I'm going to the gym because I want to accomplish something when I first wake up. I want to challenge myself physically still. And then I get home and I have a nice mental challenge with, the kids, the business, employees, managing a team, and just really trying to be the coach at that point and be the leader of this company. So I think it just fits for me. I don't think it fits for everyone. I think it's extremely, extremely challenging. And you're almost like this massive problem solver. You end up doing things that you never thought you would do. I can't even tell you how many things I've done where I'm like, I had no clue how to do that. I never thought I would do it, but here I am, buying a new warehouse and I'm on the scissor lift, changing out the light bulbs before we get our racks put in. And I'm like, never thought I'd be on a scissor lift, but here I am.
Yeah, man, it's constantly putting out fires and like you said, learning and figuring out new things. It's a crazy journey, but I do think it's worth it. I think a lot of people have heard the cliche phrase that entrepreneurs will work 80 hours a week so they don't have to work 40 for someone else. You have a vision, you have an idea, and you want to see it through and you want to run with it, and I think it takes a lot of work. Like you said, it's not easy. It's definitely not for everybody. But for those that think they want to do it, that think they want to try and give entrepreneurship a good go at it, I think it's worth it in the end. I think at the end of the day, it all comes out, as hard as you work for it, it's still a positive outcome for the most part, because even if things don't go, the way you plan, you're still learning along the way. It's a learning process. I like to say that, failure isn't really a negative thing. It's just another way to learn. The only real failure is to give up and stop. So as long as you keep grinding and trying to figure it out, it'll all work out in one way or another. Well, Chris, tell us a little bit about the product. I'm relatively new to the protein shake world because Doc said I need to start increasing my protein, and it's amazing how little protein I was getting in my diet. My diet was jacked up, but I've started trying to eat right, started trying to exercise more and do the right thing as a physical therapist. I try to eat my greens and increase my protein, but at the end of the day, I still needed to supplement with some protein shakes. So I'm all relatively new to this. Tell us about the product. It was featured on Shark Tank. You guys did a great job with that. Tell us a little bit about Ice Shaker.
Yeah, for sure, man. I could definitely tap on diet as well. And I think we've all at some point been there with our diet, right? I was pretty bad. I mean, yeah, I was an NFL player. I had to literally eat as much as I could to gain weight, to keep playing. So, I went into camp, my max weight, you actually have a max weight. So you can't go over, for me was 245 pounds, or I'd get charged $520 per pound per day that I was over. So
Jeez.
it's kind of this balancing act where I couldn't go over 245, but I had to stay as close as I could to it so that I could perform on the field. So, unfortunately, that leads to you pretty much eating whatever you want, which is great at the time. But once you're done playing, yeah, you really have to learn how to eat the right way because you're not burning those calories like you were. So I really started to study what to eat, when to eat as well. There is good times to eat, carbs, even bad carbs, or what they say is bad carbs. You can eat those at certain times. It could be before workout, after workout. There's bodybuilders that eat, Snickers before they go and lift. And, if you time it at the right time and you're using it for fuel source, there is good times to eat stuff that, maybe you feel like you shouldn't be eating. So I kind of went back and I did a lot of research myself to find out what I should be doing and what works for me, because something that works for me might not work for everyone else. My wife's half the size as me. She eats like a third of the amount of calories that I eat every day. So obviously her plan, she's not working out, she's not lifting weights. So she doesn't need the protein intake that I need because she's not breaking down any muscle like I am. So definitely interesting. But when I started doing that and getting into it, protein shakes became a huge part of it. And it's a great way to supplement that protein, because it's hard, man. It's hard to sit there and just like eat a bunch of chicken, just stuff it down. So these protein shakes taste amazing now. Like back in the day when Metrics first started them, when I was growing up and I was in high school, I hated protein shakes. My dad would make us drink them after a workout, and they were gross, man. They were rough. So now they taste amazing. Like it almost pretty much tastes like you're drinking a milkshake. So it's like, all right, why would I drink a milkshake that's 4,000 calories when I could drink a protein shake that almost tastes the same? It's 130 calories and has 25 grams of protein in it. So became a huge fan of shakes. And with that, that's kind of where the Ice Shaker came from as well. So you make a shake, you want it cold. A lot of people will also make a shake in the morning. They'll go to work and they'll bring it with them. And there was just nothing out there that would keep the shakes cold. And then on top of that, these plastic bottles would absorb the odor. If you left protein in a plastic shaker bottle, it absolutely reeked. And that's going to happen because protein's going to, it's going to start to rot. And so with that, your shaker was pretty much shot if you left it in your car for a week with some protein in it. So what we did was, I love shaker bottles. I used them for pretty much everything. I use it as a water bottle. I brought it everywhere with me. I love the easy open pop top because it was just so simple to open and close and you weren't going to spill. But with that, like I needed it to be better. And so with the Ice Shaker, simplest idea, I tell people that no one did yet. I took all the features that I loved about the shaker bottle, and then I took all the features that I hated about the shaker bottle, and I got rid of them and found a way to make them better. So, that plastic, we made it into a kitchen grade stainless steel. The fact that it wasn't insulated, we ended up vacuum insulating it. So made a double wall of vacuum seal in between the two layers, so that heat and cold can't escape from that part of the bottle. People had the ball inside of it. A lot of people hated that spring ball. And, if you put a spring ball inside of a metal cup, it became like the most annoying thing in the world. So what we did was we actually patented a twist-in agitator that will break up the powders instead. And what's really cool is that when you put a bunch of ice in an insulated cup, it floats to the top. Well, this actually works as a strainer as well. So people do use their bottle as like a cocktail shaker as well, kind of like a beginner's cocktail shaker if you're not really skilled with it. So, the handle, I had to have a handle on it. So we made a nice sturdy bucket handle on it. And then, the easy open pop top was what it was all about. So kept that feature and just made it better by putting like a little finger guard on it. So when you're at the gym, your fingers are dirty, COVID, is hitting, and everyone's like, oh, I don't want to touch the top of my bottle. Perfect. Here we go. We got like a little extended part on the front of it so that you're not actually touching the top. So anytime we get any kind of feedback, we try to use it to make us better. And that's really how Ice Shaker evolved from a shaker bottle into, we have 7 different lines of bottles now at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been following your journey for a while now, and I just love that you guys are always kind of pushing the envelope a little bit and coming up with new and inventive things. So one of the things I kind of want to talk about here is, what's coming down the pipeline for you guys. I know I saw that you're getting involved in NIL now, or name, image, and likeness for college athletes, which I think is amazing. I think this should have been done a long time ago. So they're actually getting paid for their, use of their name, image, or likeness, which is great. But what else you guys got coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, I wish NIL was around like 15 years ago when
right?
I was in college. That would have been nice, man.
Yeah.
So with that, we got a pretty cool strategy there with NIL. We're able to customize bottles with names. We actually put the players' signatures on them, so we make them signature.
Oh, that's
bottles.
cool.
So really cool that we're able to do that. They're able to offer it, kind of build their own brand up at the same time, sell to their fan base, which has been awesome. That also helps us get into bookstores. So they're the ultimate influencers on campus. So if there's 3 or 4 football players on campus rocking an ice shaker, the rest of the college wants to rock an ice shaker. So we've seen it be a very powerful influencer tool for us as well. Other things we're getting into, we signed a U.S. Army licensing deal. So we'll have the official U.S. Army camo bottle, which I'm super pumped about.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we do a lot with the military. We donate a lot to the military. And this is just another way to give back. Part of that money for that licensing fee, that goes back and helps support our troops as well. And I think it's a foundation that they have set up. So pumped to do that, getting more involved with our military. Man, we're continuing to push just different partnerships. We have a speaker bottle coming. We partnered up with a company called Bump Box, and they make the loudest Bluetooth speaker on the market. So
nice.
Actually, what we did was the bottles, normally you have that twist off compartment at the bottom, and you could put like subs and stuff like that in some of these shaker bottles. So we have that on it, but it will actually twist off, or probably come with a Bluetooth speaker already twisted on the bottom of it. So super pumped for that. It actually will pair up with other ones too. So like you're at the gym or you're at the pool or, wherever you're at, you literally got a beast mode Bluetooth speaker connected right to your bottle. So I'm pumped for that one as well.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That is awesome. Well, Chris, I just want to thank you so much for your time, man, and for coming on the show. And like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting you a couple of years ago at the Fantasy Football Expo when it was in Fort Worth there. And, just couldn't have been nicer. I really appreciate your drive, your vision. And I'm excited to announce that that Ice Shaker is actually coming on as the sole sponsor for the Professors of Profit vlogcast. So going to be some really neat opportunities for the listeners to get involved in Ice Shaker. Like I said, I think it's a great fit for physical therapy and physical therapy practices because, this is the future, right? We've got to start paying more attention to our health on the front end so that we're not having to treat it when it becomes a sickness or an illness and it's too late on the back end. So, I think protein shakes, I think a lot of the fruit and vegetable shakes that are out there and the new powders that are coming out, this is going to be a great tool to use for the future. So I can't wait to do a lot of cool things with my audience and Ice Shaker. So thank you so much for everything, Chris.
Absolutely. We're pumped. We're pumped to be a sponsor. So thanks for giving us that opportunity.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to talking to you again, man. Seeing what's coming out every couple months or so.
Yeah,
we'll check in on quarters.
Back.
Yes, sir. All right, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it, man. Take care.